We're talking football with Bengal Jim and friends. We're talking football. We hope this never ends. Jimmy, James, and Tom are back for more. Like Joey B, we're here for season 4 with Bengal guests and stories not heard before. There's Tony, Mark, and Jamie, as well as our charity, Hooter Nation, joining in from far and wide. Every Tuesday night, the guys are back at it live. By the fans, for the fans, from day one, it's time to have some fun. We're talking football with Bengal Jim and friends. We're talking football. We hope this never ends. The Bengal boys stop by to drop the speed. Don't get your popcorn ready and take a seat. Season 4 will end with the Lombardi.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bengal Jim and Friends. Guys, somber mood. But hey, we cannot go to the AFC Championship game every single year. We're going to have a down year like we did this year. And to be honest, who on the screen right now, everybody's viewing right now, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, who thought that when Joe Burrow went down for the year, we would have been in the position we were in this past Sunday, still with a chance of getting that playoffs, guys. So depressing year, man. I get it. But hey, I got a feeling that we're going to come back pretty strong. And I've already got my hotel room reserved in New Orleans. I think we all do. Tom, I know you do as well, right?
I can't wait. I got my beads. I'm ready to go.
Tonight at 8:05, we've got the Bengals Mailman here. I'm going to need your help, guys. If you're in there watching right now, get some questions ready for the Mailman. We're going to have fun with the Mailman. If you don't know who the Mailman is, go to Instagram. This guy has blown up this year. So go check him out on Instagram. And at 8:15, we got John Breech from CBS Sports, sports writer, which is Jim Breech's son. But you're going to love this. Let's talk some Bengals football. Let's talk about what happened this year. Let's talk to John about what's going to happen in the offseason. T. Higgins, coaches. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, James.
A lot of stuff to talk about, as you said. Disappointing weekend in Kansas City. Kudos to Tony and Kerry and Brandon and all the other Bengals fans that went out to support the team. A lot of DMs on where everybody was hanging out last weekend, and unfortunately didn't get it done. But was hoping this Sunday's game was going to mean something, like a win and in scenario. Certainly, even if we won last weekend, it wasn't a guarantee that we were going to be in. But hey, let's finish out the season strong. It's been a great season. I think you outlined a tweet going into New Year's, Jimmy, that talked about all the wonderful things that happened this past year, and mostly thankful for the fans that made that happen. So not the year we wanted. Like you said, can't go to the Super Bowl every year. We'll heal up. It's going to be an interesting off season, and look forward to seeing everybody Sunday for the season finale. Tony?
Yeah, just to echo what everyone's saying is, we went into week 17 with an actual bit of hope that we could actually make the playoffs. So who would have thought that when, Burrow went down with his hand injury. So, it was a pleasant surprise that we made it to Arrowhead, and it was a good game up until the halftime. So there was still that glimmer of hope, but been a great year. All the great things that we've been able to do as a group, and I look forward to after Sunday, looking forward to the next year and planning the good things that we got coming up for 24.
Yeah, we got some really big announcements. Next Tuesday will be our last episode for this season. We got some other stuff that'll be coming up. We'll go over that schedule later in the week. Sunday still, nothing changes. Same time, same spot for the tailgate. Expect to have a massive crowd down there again next Sunday, rooting on our Bengals no matter what the situation is. So, hey, let's go ahead. We see my man. I don't know what to call him. Bengals Mailman, Sean, OG Stank. We'll call him whatever you want. But if you're in there right now, make sure you type in some questions for the Mailman. But let me introduce one of the. I don't know what's happened, man. His shit has just blown up on Instagram. Almost 600,000 followers. He's literally a mailman. But you got to go on and check some of his stuff out. But let's go ahead and bring on Bengals Mailman. What's up,
happening, y'all?
What's going on, baby? How you doing?
What's up? Where'd y'all? Oh, there y'all go. Sorry, it looked like I'm calling y'all from jail. I'm telling you, I ain't. I'm
Hey,
in the little room, Jim.
you just got out of jail, did you? No.
No, hell no, I did.
Hey, so I got to ask you, man. Just tell everybody, man, because man, everybody's been following you. All Who Dey Nation's been following you most of the year, man, and some of the stuff you've been posting. But tell the story, your story. You're a mailman, right? And you live in the west side of Cincinnati.
I'm just
so tell the story. Tell the story.
I'm just a regular old mailman from Price Hill. I'm just ghetto. That's all. Born and raised, and I don't know. I'm blessed with just being goofy all my life. Like, I work 10, 12 hours a day, and the fact that I could just come home and press record on this phone and people love it, man, that's a whole blessing. That's all I'm trying to do.
And I love the positive energy and the vibe you bring. Even when people, you know, if anybody's on social media, not everybody's nice to you, right? People want to talk trash to you, man. But you just flip on them. You don't care. So give us a story. Somebody give us a story of somebody that's trying to rip on you. You kind of flipped it into a positive, have fun with it.
Yeah, always. Like, it ain't nothing that somebody gonna tell me out there that I ain't already heard. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You can run your mouth about me as much as you want. After you done said what you done said, I'm still gonna move the way I move. So if it makes you feel better to run your mouth about me, go ahead and do it, because I can take it. But do it to me, don't do it to somebody else, because somebody else might not could take it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm blessed to even have an outlook like that on life. So I just wake up and thank God every day that I could put smiles on people's face, man. And life's easier with a smile. You know what I mean?
I love it, man. I love it. So we're going to talk some Bengals here, buddy, for sure. But Tom has got the most pressing question of the night for you. Tom, you want to go ahead and fire away?
Hey, how you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I ordered 2 things for my wife in late November, and they didn't get here till after Christmas. What's going on?
You got it from Temu, didn't you? You need to stay away from that Temu, damn it.
Well, I mean, who do I talk to about this stuff?
I don't know, not me. You talking to the wrong guy here, buddy.
It's above your pay grade?
That's above my pay grade.
All right.
Hey, if it was him delivering that thing, you would have had it on time, Tom. That's all.
Yeah, I'd have had it to you a day early at least. I'm gonna try.
All right. I appreciate you running it out and hustling. So,
yeah.
Like Jimmy said, we have to, appreciate the smile and the positive energy. We got kicked a little bit around this past weekend. How are you looking to next year?
I'm looking forward to next year. We got a healthy Joe Bro back. I hope they can keep T, man. Shout out to T. That's my guy. I hope we can find a way to keep him, man, because he's a #1 receiver too, though. At the end of the day, like, he needs his money. So I understand. I'm rocking with him whatever happens, but that's my guy. He's did a lot for me that I'll never forget. So shout out to T.
Yeah, let's go and get into that. It's a kind of good transition for this. We're gonna play a quick video, OG, and when we're done with the video, I want you to come back and talk about it.
All right.
The mailman dude, I had him at the game last week. Yeah. Where he at? He down here he on the floor. I gotta go say what's up to him. Hey, the mailman dude here?
Yep, Snake.
Where he at? What's up, OG Sting?
I love you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Nah, you too, brother. God bless you.
Man, how cool was that?
Man, something I'll never forget, man. That was a whole blessing.
So, how'd that come about, man? So he was hunting you down. He wanted to say hi.
Yeah, so like the week before, he had reached out to me on Instagram, and he commented on one of my videos. And then he wrote me. He was like, I'm going to get you some tickets to next week's game. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I ain't want to bug him about it. He was like, remind me Monday after the game. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I wrote him Monday after the game, and I gave him my email and everything. And then he was like, he didn't get back to me. So I'm like, well, I'm not about to bug him about these tickets. Like, I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy that's just about to be like, oh, well, you said you're going to do this and you're going to do. That ain't me. You know what I mean? I'm humble. I'm happy he even reached out to me and noticed me. You know what I mean? So I'll take what I could get. It is what it is. I'm not about to bug the man. he's doing something already. He's busy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be thirsty for these tickets. But then Antonio Brown Jr. wrote me the Friday before the game, and he was like, bro, I got to get you some tickets. And then I told him about the situation with T, and he was like, all right, I'm going to tell him tomorrow. And then that next morning, T sent me the tickets.
That's
9
awesome.
rows back, Jim.
That's awesome, man. T's good dude, man. Mama T, his mom comes down tailgates with us most every game, man. They're good people, man. They're good.
Yeah,
people.
I ain't met her yet. I love to, man, because he's amazing. Like, he done did something for me that when he gave me them tickets, it was my daughter's birthday. It was the best birthday she had ever had, man. And that's something, man to man. That's something that I can't thank him enough for.
So let's talk about. Let's go back to the mailman situation, man. So when did this start blowing up on you, man? I mean, it's amazing how quickly this thing has shot up on you.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I guess in the past 5-6 months, because in May, in the summer, I was at like 160,000 on TikTok. I've just been on Instagram for like 5 months, and I'm at like 560 on there. But on the TikTok blew up within the past 6 months, because like I said, in May, I was at 160,000.
That's crazy.
I had like 5 videos go viral, crazy viral, and then everybody, I'm just trying to make people smile. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need this social media. I'm a mailman. I work 60 hours a week. Like, so I done told my wife, like, soon as this gets stressful, I'm done. Like, I don't need no more extra stress. Like, I'm already altering my days to try and make sure that I'm making a video, because now I know what these videos do for folks. So I'm like, I got to keep going. Like, regardless of my job, I'll find another job somewhere else. I ain't tripping. But these videos are really doing stuff for people. And I ain't realized that until just probably a couple months ago, for real, man. It's crazy. Like, sometimes I'm emotional as hell. Like, I get to read these comments and I just be like, oh, really, how is this? Like, for real. But it's crazy.
Keep that positive vibe going, man. No matter what people say to you, positive or negatively. But talk about some of the stuff you run into on your route, man. I remember one of the videos you did. You had it was a beehive in a mailbox or something with bees in it. Dogs the worst.
Yeah, dogs. Well, I deliver on Price Hill, so yeah, dogs be everywhere. Loose dogs. Like, whose dog is it? Don't nobody know whose dog it is, but it's chasing my ass all up and down the street. Like, it's real. Like, I don't know what it is. There'll be dogs in a car driving by, and they just barking at me. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you in the car driving by. But spider webs is a big thing. Of course, the elements, the rain, the snow, the cold, the heat, you know what I mean? But you got to take your good days with the bad days. It's a good job, man. You know what I mean? I've been walking Price Hill my whole life. Now they're paying me to do it.
My dad retired from the post office, brother, so I know all about it, man. I know all about it. So, James, Tony, what do you guys got for the mailman?
Yeah, we've got some listener questions here, and I think one of the things that has been most exciting, as everybody said, is your positive energy. But the next question in the chat is about this grill. OG, is that real? Can you pop it out?
Yeah, it's real. It's real. It's definitely real.
Okay. Scott also says, man, we think we can get like 1,000 of them for Bengal gyms on Sunday, so we can all have copycats of your grill and rock them into the stadium.
Hey, that'd be expensive.
Maybe Scott will stop. Maybe all your influencers, or now that you're influencer status, and that kind of leads into the next question. You talk about all the followers that you have now. Have potential sponsors reached out to you and wanted you to push a potential product, Bengals related or not, with the popularity?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's been, I've done a few little sponsorship little things, but not nothing. I'm working with this Kickstand Cocktails. I guess they're the official cocktail of the Cincinnati Bengals, so I'm gonna be working with them. Here coming up, I guess they're releasing in Kroger's here in a little bit, so we're gonna be doing some work with that. But I'm also getting involved with this nonprofit Holding Hands downtown. I'm trying to do good with this platform. Like, I really want to do something that's going to impact people's lives. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, this is a blessing. I don't need this social media. Like, it's a blessing. So if I could bring up these little businesses by shouting them out on my little unboxing videos, that's what I'm going to do. if it gives them some attention that a $30 million commercial on TV is gonna cost them, if I could do it and get them more views, then hell yeah, I'm gonna do it for them. You know what I mean? Like, let's come up together with this. I don't need this social media at all. I'm a regular dude at the end of the day. You see me out on the street, I'm saying what's up, give me a hug, taking pictures, because I just see if somebody sees me and it just brightens their day and they just get so excited. That's what this about. I'm trying to do as much as I can with this platform, especially while I'm up and hot and popping right now. You know what I mean? I want to get back to the hood as much as I can. I really want to make change in the hood. I want to get these kids off the corner in the summer. That's what this Holding Hands is about, man. Giving back downtown on the East End and down there. And we're just trying to make change. That's all.
That's a perfect segue. Tony, as you know, leads our charity portion. We'll talk about the numbers for the year, but great to see you're giving back to charity and those in need. Tony, go ahead with your next question, if you don't mind.
Yes, Skank, I got two things for you, buddy. I'm Tony the Tiger, right? So I need to hear that roar. And I need a minute. I need a minute of that fit.
A fit check? You want to see the fit check?
Let's do the fit tape.
Hold on, Stank. Because I told you I'm in this little room. It's like a closet, Tony. Hold on, because look, all right, we got everybody love that Bengals fitted right there. That little gray right there. And then the T Higgins, all white. Shout out to T. It's the real one, not the corner store. The St. Higgins, not Huggins. With the black long sleeve under there. The Dickies. And then the all white forces. And then you can't forget the big Houday chain. This thing heavy as hell. It's metal. It ain't that fake one down there.
Oh, dude.
Queen City Fab, they done gave me this. But this thing is heavy. This fake, though. Yeah, this fake.
See, you could have said it was real. We wouldn't even have known. See?
Oh, nah. See, that's what they was talking about in the comments. Now they can start getting, oh, he's fake. He's an imposter.
It is funny to see. It is funny to see all the comments in here, man. Like you said, man, it's just people love it, man. They love you, man. And we appreciate you being part of it, man. Appreciate you being part of Houday Nation, man. And James, anything else you wanted to add before I kind of?
Yeah, this is blowing up the chat. Are you going to be at the game Sunday?
I am. Houday!
All right. Can you make 10 minutes to stop by Bengal Gyms and meet everybody in the chat that's asking if you're going to be at the game?
Yeah, I'm going to be tailgating down there at Longworth. So where y'all be at? I'm going to have to find somebody. I'm going to have to find y'all.
I'll text you. We're going to put you on stage with a mic.
I ain't scared. I ain't scared, Jim.
Oh, you will be. Come on, man. We got things.
I ain't never scared.
We'll see. I'll text you. I'll talk to you this week, man. We'll get you down
Sounds
there.
Good.
Stop by for 10 minutes and we'll put you on the mic and say a few words. Let you do a toast. We go out beating the city up north this week. But OG, man, we appreciate you being with us, man. I was very excited to have you on, man. And I love your positive energy. You just keep doing what you're doing, big dog.
I appreciate you, Jim. It was a pleasure to be here, man. Y'all have a good night. Houday.
Appreciate it.
See you Sunday.
Hey, man.
I love y'all.
Bye, bro. See, I don't know how John's going to follow this up, man. That was fun.
John's got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, he does, man. So that was fun.
Look who's even watching. Ken Riley was watching.
See? Ken never watches the show. He came on to watch the show just so he could just see the Bengals Mailman is what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How about that?
Well, hey, I know we got John. We don't want to make John wait in the waiting room here anymore. Tom, go ahead and introduce our next guest.
From CBS Sports, and he has Royal Bengal blood coursing through his body, as his father is Jim Breech, and like his dad, he is perfect in breaking overtime stories. Just like his dad never missed a kick to win a game in overtime. We welcome to Bengal Jim and Friends, John Breech. John, thank you very much for making time for us.
Guys, my God, if I had known Bengals Mailman was going to be here, I would have demanded to go first just so I didn't have to follow him. I mean, that guy's amazing. I'm going to hang out with him next time I'm in Cincinnati.
Very, very disappointed you don't have a chain on right now. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny?
Oh, boy.
So I actually have a chain that I wore to Jacksonville, but the tiger fell off, and I don't know where it is. because I was going to wear it as soon as I saw Bengal Mailman wearing his chain. But the giant tiger on the front fell off, and I'm guessing somebody in Jacksonville now has a Bengal tiger chain running around there, or maybe they had it turned into a jaguar. I don't know, but I do have a chain. That's the thing. I had a chain.
All right, John, we got a boatload of stuff to talk about. Again, as you're viewing, everybody, ask any questions you want. We'll try to get to those later, but let's kick this off. Tom, get us going here, buddy.
John, certainly a disappointment. I think this was a team put together to go deep into the playoffs, if not back to the Super Bowl and win it. Could not really overcome the injuries and some other problems they had. Now, certainly after Sunday's game, which is a game we want to beat our rival, the Cleveland Browns, in, what do you see for the Bengals moving forward? Are we looking at coaching staff upheaval, either naturally or other, philosophical changes, and certainly adjustments to the roster, which is built very well for most of the league, but really doesn't, at least talent-wise, it has a lot of talent, but doesn't match up well with our division rivals.
Yeah, we are definitely getting beat up by the AFC North, 0-5, not good. And really, Zach Taylor has kind of struggled against the division since he's been there. And it's the problem with building a team, and we kind of saw it with the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers got beat up by AFC North teams. Is do you want to be a finesse team that can beat teams like the Bills and the Chiefs, or do you want to be in there Mike Tyson and taking punches, which is what you have to be to compete in the AFC North? And it's kind of tough to do both of those unless you have someone like Lamar Jackson at quarterback. And so it's a tough thing to figure out. I think that's what the coaching staff is going to have to decide. I do not think there will be a lot of upheaval on the coaching staff. I think the only way that would happen is if someone went out and hired Lou Anarumo. But, the upside of seeing the defense struggle down the stretch is that I don't think the Bengals have to worry about them, him scoring a ton of interviews. Last year, he was a hot candidate. This year, I'm not sure how big of a candidate he would be. So you stick with your main coaching staff. So I think they'll do that. And I think the biggest thing is T. Higgins. It's, do you give him a new contract? Do you hit him with a franchise tag? Do you let him walk and look for a receiver in the draft? So I think the receiver room is probably your biggest question mark, because you can't have Joe Burrow coming back and throwing to just Jamar Chase and no one else. So I think getting the receivers figured out is probably needs to be near the top of the priority list for the offseason.
James?
John, let's keep on that. Not that or predict. What you feel, man? What do you feel they do with T here, man? It's just going to be interesting.
I think they will do their best to keep him. I just feel like they know how important he is. Look, we saw when Jamar Chase went down how big T. Higgins came up. The Vikings game, that was one of the most insane catches by any receiver we saw all season for any team. And so it's just such a good 1-2 punch. I know that T. Higgins wants to go and be a number one wide receiver somewhere. I think his mom makes that clear on Twitter every week. So, but look, that's what the franchise tag is for. It's not ideal for players, but it's a way for if you're a team to keep somebody you want that maybe you don't want to pay their asking price. So I do think they'll do what they can to keep him, but that doesn't mean he'll be staying, because obviously he deserves a lot of money and he's going to have a high asking price. It's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, I heard everything you said, and I'm going to translate this. Everybody watching right now, T. Higgins is re-signing with the Cincinnati Bengals. John Breech said so. No, we get it, man. Everybody loves the guy. We love him to have him here, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be an interesting offseason for that. So, sorry, James, go ahead, bud.
No, you're fine. And I'll piggyback what you said. My biggest thing with T. Higgins is my thoughts are we let A.J. Green, Carlos Dunlap, and Geno Atkins walk and basically got nothing in return. I don't care what we do with T, but we need something in return if he doesn't stay in Cincinnati. If that means franchise him and trade him, sign him, trade him, do whatever. But we have to get something in return, unlike what happened with our past three big stars, AJ, Geno, and Carlos. But Tom did an excellent intro. John, tell us about growing up the son of a Bengal star. What was that like growing up in Cincinnati, having your dad be the all-time points leader here in Cincinnati?
Well, he played until I was 11, so it was a pretty good chunk of my childhood where I got to see him play. And obviously, it was before the great lost decade of the 90s. He played from 82 to 92 during my lifetime, obviously started in Cincinnati in 1980. So that was the glory era. Before Joe Burrow came along, that was if you were going to be alive for one era of Bengals football or be the son of the kicker for one era of Bengals football, that is the era you wanted. And I think just following that team from such a young age really is probably 80% of the reason I'm a sports writer now, because everything that team did, a lot of the systems they use are things that are still being used in the NFL right now. I mean, we're talking about obviously the no huddle offense and deciding to run it for an entire game instead of just in the final 2 minutes, and meshing that with these West Coast concepts. And now every team, you see it do it all the time. And we know Dick LeBeau started in Cincinnati, even though Steelers fans claim him. That the zone blitz started with the Bengals, and we still see how exotic defenses are now with their blitzes. And that started with Dick LeBeau. And so it's just crazy to think about what that era of Bengals football, how it shaped today's NFL. And for me, it was just cool to be in the locker room with some of the coolest personalities. You know, Boomer Esiason, Ickey Woods, Anthony Munoz. These were all guys. Look, we're just 10-year-old kids running around the locker room. They're playing with us. I'm sure we annoyed the hell out of them. And one crazy thing is that the Saturday before home games, Sam Weish would just, if any of the players had kids, and there were not many kids at that point, probably 10, 11, 12 total on the 53-man roster, Weish just had them come down. You could go to the walkthrough, eat donuts. And I told my dad recently, I was like, I could not imagine. I mean, the 10-year-old kids were tweeting out plays as the walkthrough was going on, so that they could never do that anymore. But it's just crazy to think about how much Sam Weish kind of fostered this family environment during his time as head coach.
And to piggyback on that, that's a great explanation. A great point there with social media. You're 100% right. No way that happens nowadays. So growing up around the locker room with all those Bengals legends, who was your favorite player outside your father, of course?
I would probably say either Boomer would be the obvious choice. So they had these laundry baskets that they filled up after practice. They had wheels, just giant industrial laundry baskets, basically. He would throw us in there and push us around the locker room, which I always thought was hilarious at the time. But then I started thinking about it 30 years later, and I'm like, my God, that's where all their old T-shirts after practice and dirty jock straps. Like, I am surprised I am still alive based on just swimming around in gross, sweaty clothing. And Lee Johnson, who was my dad's holder, I love Lee Johnson. That guy has the greatest personality, one of the most just outgoing people you could ever meet. And then ended up playing in the NFL into the 2000s, was Tom Brady's teammate. So we're talking about Lee just played forever. Him and my dad are really good friends, and he's someone that can chat up a storm at all times. I did an interview with him last year. He was like on a cruise ship in Greece doing the interview, which was just the most Lee Johnson thing ever. Just he's Carmen Sandiego, just pops up wherever, says hi, and then he's gone.
We got some viewer questions in here. Tony, go ahead, and then we'll come back to the viewer questions.
Yeah, so talking about special teams, we got a punter that's been kind of struggling, I think. What do you see in that role, or what do you see the Bengals doing in the future for that?
Tony, that's a great question. First, I got to give a shout out to my buddy Nate from Chicago, who DM'd you today and donated his tickets. He's like, you're going on Bengal Gym Show. Tell Tony that I DM'd him earlier, and I'm handing him my Browns tickets. So I'm glad to see you're doing that. I'm glad to see my buddy Nate helping out so some kids can get to their game on Sunday for the first time ever. That is a tough question, because you think punting is such one of those things that everybody kind of got tired. I don't want tired of Kevin Huber, but it was clear that he didn't have his fastball anymore. And it became a be careful what you wish for situation, because we didn't really get an upgrade over Kevin Huber. And when you draft a punter, there's a high expectation. And that expectation was that Brad Robbins was going to be good. And, sure, there here and there were some good punts, but I don't think if you're the Bengals, you can confidently go into training camp thinking that he's going to be your punter in 2024. So I think I am 99% sure he will have competition this year, and I will be surprised if he keeps the job. It was just struggling for too much of the season in key situations. And if you're a special teams coach, Darren Simmons has done a great job. So that's why I do think that he will definitely bring in some competition for Brad Robbins.
Good.
Jimmy?
Let me get one, real quick. So Let's talk about this defensive line a little bit. Obviously, you could tell the defense missed DJ Reader here with the run game, being a run stuffer. I mean, what they're going to have to address that defensive line, especially interior defensive line this year, John. So talk a little bit about that and kind of what went good there, what went bad here this year, and what do we project move forward for 2024?
I think the one thing that's crazy about the interior defensive line is you don't realize how much one player is doing until all of a sudden they're not there anymore.
Yep.
Because we didn't really talk about that part of the defense for probably the first 10 weeks. And then DJ Reader goes down, and then, hey, you can run on the Bengals, and there's just no pressure coming from up the middle. And the only pressure coming from anywhere is Trey Hendrickson on the outside. And so that created a huge problem. And I think what the Bengals are going to have to do, because DJ Reader is getting older, I think that's another position they're going to have to look at in the draft. And so, hey, maybe not making the playoffs this year, Joe Burrow injured, you get a higher pick. This isn't the worst year to have higher picks because there are definitely holes on the roster that you need to fill, and you want to fill them as cheaply as possible because you just gave your quarterback a $275 million contract. And so I do think that the Bengals will look to fill their most glaring holes in the draft. And I do think interior defensive line will be up. I could see a second or third round pick at that position, but that will definitely be something. And maybe you get a lower end free agent, but that is something they'll have to address in the offseason.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, you kind of stole a thunder there with Augie's question from New York. He said, what position do you see us addressing? What about that right tackle spot with Jonah moving on? Do you think that's going to be something we address through the draft or in free agency?
Oof. With the right tackle, it's a little more complicated because you have seen what's going to happen if this line struggles is Joe Burrow is going to get beat up. You don't want him coming off an injury season where he gets behind the offensive line in week 1 and he's running for his life. So I have a hard time seeing them start a rookie there next season. That doesn't mean they won't draft a right tackle, but I have to think they will look hard in free agency. I mean, I feel like you guys were probably as surprised as I was that they went out and got Orlando Brown because it just seems so out of character. But to me, that was the team saying, hey, look, we know Joe Burrow is our money guy. We've got to figure out a way to protect him. And that means bringing in a guy like Orlando Brown. And so I do think that at right tackle, they'll look to free agency first. Obviously, if someone's there in the draft, they'll take him. But I think free agency is probably the route they'll go just because, hey, look, the Super Bowl window closes about a centimeter every year. So you want to take advantage of every season you have with Joe Burrow. And that's why I think they'll do something at right tackle before the draft.
John, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
So the second part to Augie's question was, you mentioned the laundry cart, which is a great story. What about on the field memory, maybe involving your dad or the Bengals during that time frame, which you played for him?
I would say my number one, kind of my first memory that's burnt in my head is his game-winning field goal against Washington that clinched the division, gave the Bengals home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and kind of propelled them to the Super Bowl. And I like the whole sequence of that game. I was only 6 at the time, but I can remember Chip Lowe. And, Washington was the defending Super Bowl champion. So this is a huge game, not just because the division title is on the line, but you're playing the defending Super Bowl champs. And I remember Chip Lowe coming out for like a 25-yard field goal at the end of regulation. It seemed like the game was over. And this probably was like the 5th windiest day in the history of Cincinnati. It was like 30, 35-mile-an-hour winds. Lowe Miller's kick just floats up from 25 yards away or whatever it was. It was something incredibly short and hits the upright and misses. And that memory just sits in my head. And I remember they got to overtime. The Bengals forced a fumble. They recovered it. They sent my dad out on 2nd or 3rd down. They didn't even wait the 4th down. And he drills it. Everyone goes crazy. We go down the locker room afterward. And it was just, you've never seen guys so excited. And then the best thing about things like that is that after the game, we could go down on the field and kick field goals. And that's when you're like, I'm going to pretend to be my dad and hit a game winner. But of course I was 6 and I didn't make any of them. But things like that were crazy. I remember going down on the field a couple days before Super Bowl 23. That was awesome. I think the 49ers were probably doing their team photos. So you see, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Bill Walsh. You see all of those guys. And then obviously down there with all the Bengals. So, yeah, I would say those were probably, in my young life, two of the cooler experiences.
That's funny you mentioned that Washington game. As soon as you started talking about that, I was 17 years old selling peanuts at that game because that's the only reason I got the job with Sports Service, so I could watch the Bengal games. So I'm literally walking around the red seat, looking straight down that goalpost when Chip Blowman hit that goalpost. I remember that game like it was yesterday. But let's talk about this season. Joe Burrow goes down. I don't think there's really a whole lot of fans in the entire in Houday Nation that thought we had any chance in hell of us making the playoffs after Joe went down, and especially after Jake Browning's first game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which we looked absolutely horrendous. Jake had a 3-game run there against some pretty damn good competition and played pretty damn well this past week in Kansas City. Talk a little bit about Jake and his grittiness at the end of the day here. He had a hell of a run.
Yeah, real quick on the season as a whole, I really the game that kind of perturbed me the most was the Texans game, because if they win that, they're not eliminated right now. They're still in this going into the final week of the season. And I just felt like that was one that rarely has this team not been prepared for the start of a game under Zach Taylor. But I don't know what happened, why they were sleepwalking through the first 2 or 3 quarters. But that was just, and then they come back, lose by 3 points, and C.J. Stroud leads that game-winning drive. But I still can't believe they let that one get away. As for Jake Browning, look, that's all you can ask of in a backup quarterback. I will say we did a podcast for CBS Sports when Joe Burrow went down, and I ragged on Taylor a little bit for not bringing in someone else at backup during the offseason, obviously, because Joe was dealing with other injuries. And if your quarterback's out during training camp, you need to have a good plan B. But good on Zach Taylor. He knew that Jake Browning had been there, knew his system well, and that he was the right guy to run it. And that is all you can ask for in a situation like that. 3 straight wins. I mean, I was down at the Jacksonville game. I know most of you guys were probably there. And that game was nuts. The Jacksonville had no idea. They got so blindsided by what Jake Browning was doing. They didn't think he could throw downfield. They didn't think the Bengals offense would be able to do anything, because the only film they had on him was the week before against the Steelers, where he looked like garbage. And I think most Bengals fans, after that 16-10 loss, just thought, all right, well, the season's done. Mail it in. We're over. So then to come out and rebound with that game against Jacksonville, the dominating game against the Colts, and really the game against the Vikings, I thought was the most impressive, because they shut him down for 3 quarters. And it's easy for someone in Jake Browning's situation to just kind of be overwhelmed and realize, all right, I can't do this. I had 2 great games and these defenses have figured me out. But for him to do what he did in the 4th quarter of that game and then overtime, that was impressive. So, yeah, I think that Jake Browning I think he's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So he's pretty much locked into being with this team in 2024. And I think that's a guy you absolutely have to keep because of the way he played. But I will say, backup quarterback's an important position. We've seen it a lot this year being used. We're going to have Joe Flacco in the playoffs. We're going to have Gardner Minshew maybe in the playoffs. So it is something that is very important. And I think this is good for Browning to get this experience in case he's on the field at all next year. Hopefully he's not, but in case he is.
Tom?
Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, there was a lot of talk certainly early on. Lou Anarumo's nightmare, losing both safeties. And I think there was a trickle down, not just from the personnel we lost. And really, I'm one of the few guys. I thought Von Bell was every bit as important to that defense as Jesse Bates, every bit. But there was a trickle down. I think it affected our linebackers who have taken some criticism this year. But I thought in watching them, they seemed to be playing back a little bit further back from the line of scrimmage. It seemed like some zone coverage was a lot more of their responsibilities this year. They didn't, Pratt and Logan Wilson did not have the opportunity to make plays. And then from that might have affected our run defense some, because they weren't as close to the line of scrimmage. Not that I'm not saying that the defensive line needs a lot of work defending that. They do. But, do you think it's just a matter of growing pains from the safety position? Or, are we looking at new personnel there as well?
The thing with that is that I don't think they should have let both safeties walk. I know that it was going to be expensive to keep Jesse Bates, but I agree that Von Bell just from a veteran leadership standpoint, a guy who's been in the NFL, a guy who knows what he's doing, somebody you trust. We know Jesse Bates plays at a Pro Bowl level, and you don't want to lose that, but I think it became pretty clear that he was going to walk. But you're just losing all this experience and all these guys who you trust on the back end of your defense. And that if the linebackers are scooting back, it's, hey, yeah, we know Dax Hill's back there. We know Jordan Battle's back there, but we don't trust them as much as we did the guys we had last year. And there's absolute growing pains there. And I'm not sure that the Bengals really had kind of defensive chemistry that they had last season. That's not that this defense was bad. I wouldn't say that the run defense suffered because you have two new safeties. To me, I thought the defense was worse because of the offensive struggles. When you're going, the first 2 weeks of the season, the Bengals couldn't get a first down. And when you're putting the defense on its heels every single possession, there's only so much they can take. You're out in the field for 35, 38 minutes a game. You're going to get worn out. And that was happening the whole time Joe Burrow was injured. That was happening when Jake Browning was out there his first week where they couldn't move the ball. And so I just think it was kind of a confluence of things that negatively affected the defense. I think if Joe Burrow's completely healthy, that the defense probably plays a lot better. I don't think we'll see many wholesale changes on the defense, though. I think they feel like they can probably be successful with most of the core unit they have.
Do you like DJ? Do you like DJ Turner going forward as one of our outside corners?
You know what? I don't think DJ Turner had a bad season. I don't. If they decide, hey, look, let's keep him. Give him the job for next year. He wasn't out there. This was an Eli Apple situation where I felt like that was a love-hate relationship where you're like, oh, interception, then burnt for a touchdown. And that just wasn't sustainable. But somebody like DJ Turner, with the younger guys, you just either trust them and let them grow. There are going to be growing pains. But if you see the talent there, then you got to let them blossom. And at some point you hope to see that. And I feel like the Cowboys are a great example of that. You had Trayvon Diggs. He goes down. And Deron Bland steps in and sets the pick six record. So, obviously DJ Turner's not doing that, but you got to let these guys grow, and on-the-job training is the best way to do it.
Tony?
Yeah, so, we all know this is our last game coming up this Sunday. We're winning. We're trying to win for a winning season. We're playing for pride, for Battle of Ohio, and some of the people are playing for, stats. How important, in your opinion, is this game and as it relates to that?
Well, I think that if you're the coaching staff, you absolutely want to win because 9-8 is a huge difference than 8-9. You can look back at this season, use it as a rallying cry for next year. Say, hey, look, we lost our starting quarterback for a lot of games, and this roster is so talented that we still managed to put together a winning record. So that aspect, I think you want to win it. Number two, you want to get a division win. I don't care if Cleveland rests every single starter. This would still be just 0-5 is so ugly. You don't want to go winless in the division. So I think the Bengals are going to have that chip on their shoulder of we're not getting swept by the AFC North. So I think they're going to go out, play with fire. I think they'll look good. And who knows who's going to be out there for Cleveland. But I do think we'll see a Bengals team that is pretty desperate for a win. I wouldn't be surprised if they win by double digits, even though they have struggled with AFC North teams, obviously.
Well, John, look, man, this has been fun, brother. We want to have you back here at some point, man. This has been a lot of fun. Tell everybody, so you're with CBS Sports. Tell everybody what you're doing right now. We should have kind of maybe gotten into some more detail. You also have a podcast as well, I think you do.
Yeah. We do the Pick Six podcast. I'm only on twice a week, but we do it every day on Monday and Wednesday. I have a newsletter. Go to cbssports.com, Pick Six, Google it, something. That comes out every day. That's where I do the brunt of my work. And then I also write stories about the NFL pretty much every day of the week. So, if you're a Bengals fan, there's always Bengals talk in there because I grew up in Cincinnati. So there's never not Bengals talk. So do that. I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet as much as I used to, but if the Bengals are good, I'll tweet more.
You know, it's funny. Everybody that's watching right now, literally, I text Jim Breech, John's dad, say, I need your son's phone number. We want him on the show. I think Jim was pissed at me that I didn't ask him to come on the show, but we've had Jim on the show before. So, John, we appreciate it, man. This has been awesome. The viewers.
My dad was insulted. He gave me your message, but then he said I'm deleting Bengal Jim's number from my phone. He did it in front of me, and then he broke his phone just so you couldn't text him anymore.
I figured. That hurt.
Bridge is burned, Jim. It's burned.
Brother, we appreciate it, John. Thanks for being with us, bud. Let's stay in touch, man. Well, thanks for everything, man. Happy New Year, buddy.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
He's good, man. I tell you what, he's as good as any reporter we've ever had on in the 4 years we've been on air. So
Yeah, nope. He knows it. I love the locker room stories that he was able to share with his dad, and just a national reporter, a solid reporter, although he didn't go to Syracuse, but still great job doing the journalism, right, Tom? But we got what are we up to now? Tony's.
actually, let's do this. Let's do this real quick. We'll get into charity stuff in a minute here. So, look, Sunday, you got tickets. Get your butts down there. Let's have some fun. Let's root on the Bengals and get this dub this weekend. Come down to the tailgate, have some fun with us. Tony the Tiger is going to be ruler of the jungle. So we got to be there to support Tony at the tailgate. We got to be there at the game early to support Tony as he's up on the ruler stage with his staff. So I think he's got some fun stuff planned for us. So Tony, are the nerves setting in now or what, man? You getting concerned about this? Are you scared at all? You're just ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I'm actually heading down there tomorrow to do some pre-promo stuff with the Bengals. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm getting all Tony'd up for that. I'm excited. I got Tom, who's giving me some directions to benefit him as I'm up there on the stage. I got to make sure I do that for him. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a great honor to be the fan of the year. And, it's a shame that we ain't going into the playoffs, but it's still been a hell of a run for me and then as well as the Bengals. So I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday.
Yeah. And again, don't forget, I know Tony's been posted. We've been sharing a lot of it on all the different social media platforms. Tony's still up for NFL Fan of the Year. So make sure, and this year it's something a little bit different than they've done in years past. This year it's a fan vote. So let's get the votes going on whatever social media platform you're on. Get those and share those with friends. You can vote every day. I've been on there every day voting. So make sure you get on there and vote for Tony. So Tony, it's going to be a fun day Sunday, man. We're looking forward to it, buddy. So let's kind of transition this a little bit, guys. We got some big news next Tuesday. We'll kind of tease a little bit on some of the charity stuff we're doing. Actually, pretty major news. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday. We've got a couple big name guests we're waiting to hear back from. We'll let you know more about that as it gets later next week. But Tony, talk about where we're at year to date with our charity numbers.
Yeah. So, this is the last game of the year, right? But we've still got some work to do. We continue to do our charity work. And if James can pop up that graphic, you'll see that we are at 135,000 this year already, year to date, and that's over 30 charities right now. So, let's get a few more $1,000 in that pot from Sunday. It's a great organization that we're working with Sunday. They were there with us last year. It's the Tri-State First Responders. It's a great organization. They're the folks that help our first responders deal with everything that they deal with. So, as a first responder, a fireman, a paramedic, a police officer, they're the first ones going to the scenes. They're running in as we're running out. And the things they have to deal with and see and that kind of thing is, it affects them. And this group is a great organization that helps with keeping their mental state well and just helping support them as they work through things. So I'm really excited to have this group here again this year. They're excited to be there as well. So I'm hoping you guys come out and, we can earn some money for them.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Their link is in the chat there. I just put that in the chat. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, but as we know, unfortunately, this season is going to be shorter than last year. But we've already exceeded the totals from last year, correct?
That's correct. We made 133 last year, and we set a goal based on that numbers and knowing how well Houday Nation does for our charity base and our platform that we're working with. We set that goal to 150. So we're going to, with the news that's coming up, I think we're going to meet that goal for sure. So I'm very excited and looking forward to when we lay out next year. Maybe we increase that goal to 175,000. Who knows? But it's been a great year, and we couldn't do this without you guys. Tony's Tickets for Kids, without you guys donating the tickets. As already mentioned, we've had several donors today give me tickets, and we're going to exceed 40 kids this year, sending them to their first game. So it's been an amazing year all the way around, and I just thank all the fans and everyone who's contributed to us for that.
100%. I'm leaving Mon's post up there because many of you know Mon, who has a great podcast, diehard Bengals fan from Florida, but Mon is a first responder, so he knows firsthand what these men and ladies go through, seeing that trauma out there in the trenches in the fields on a day-to-day basis. So we appreciate Mon, all he does, and again, that's a prime example of somebody that's out there putting it on the line. The wife turns on a doctor show, and as soon as they show a needle, I turn it off or run out of the room. So what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis is absolutely amazing, and we appreciate all that they do. Another great charity. I think we, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, we debuted working with them last year. It was right after the anniversary. Today, I think, is about the anniversary of the Damar Hamlin thing, which I think spearheaded this whole initiative. So glad to have them back on the unfortunate anniversary of Damar Hamlin. Obviously, we know that turned out good for everybody. But, here we are, and another great charity and exceeding the goal. Again, this is going to be a shorter season. As Jimmy said, there's going to be a huge announcement next week, and all this is possible because of the fans' generosity. So we appreciate that very much.
And the thing we always talk about, and one thing I keep on saying is really critical and important, what we do here as a tailgate group and as a podcast, is we bring so much attention to these organizations that no one really knew existed. I mean, I never knew there was a peer group for our first responders, but it's so important to get that messages out to people and let them know that there's so many opportunities to give and to help other organizations out. So it's one of the great things I love about this platform, is being able to share that information. So kudos to everyone for getting that information out.
Is awesome. Unbelievable. 135. Let's go ahead and kick this off here, guys.
This is the 2-minute warning.
For Tony being rule of the jungle, we had to use Tony's, and we had to go back in the archives to pull that one out for Tony. So let's go and kick it off. Tony, get us going.
So it's been a great year. Appreciate the network of fans and friends that we've been able to acquire over the year. I'm looking forward to Sunday being the ruler of the jungle. I hope you guys come out and support that effort of mine, as well as our charity for the tailgate. Come out and have a good time. It's not over till it's over. We'll be here again next year for sure. Looking forward to what that entails. And I just love you all, and I appreciate you. Who day?
Tom?
Well, congratulations to Tony, not just for fan of the year, but how fired up he'll get everybody Sunday and how he represents all Bengal fans. I not only think we're the most knowledgeable, we are the most passionate, but also the classiest of all fan bases in the NFL. Certainly this weekend was very, very tough. I know at the beginning of the season, I was absolutely counting on going to the playoffs. We just didn't have the team to overcome the injuries, which is something that happens and you have to do. We didn't have that this year. Just the right guys got knocked out, and it wasn't in the cards. But it is a big game Sunday. It's a big game for a lot of players to establish themselves for next year, and to have another winning season, and to make sure we don't pull an over in the AFC North. As far as the whole of the week, this is going to be, I hope, the last one of these, because I need to get out of this rut. But the NFL keeps doing it to me. God, the officiating was awful all weekend. I'm not just going to give it to the pathetic effort the officials and the Zebras gave in the Chiefs-Bengals game, where they really put it to us. That intentional grounding penalty was awful. But when you saw what happened Saturday night in Dallas, what was done to the Lions, I have it on good authority. I think James was able to confirm it for me that the crack man needed an IV from sobbing uncontrollably all night. If you've been watching the show for a while, crack man's a big Lions fan.
Top 5 moment ever.
Yeah, very, very, very passionate. But so yeah, we're going to give that to the officials. And in honor of first responders, Cincinnati firefighter, and essentially an extra son of mine, Matt Clark, who sits with me every week and is a Cincinnati firefighter. Very proud of him. And, hopefully we can get him down to the tailgate on Sunday. So congratulations, Matthew. We'll talk more next week about next season. There's certainly a lot to talk about. And please, 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 if you're out there on social media, do not forget, put the word out. Willie Anderson is a semifinalist again this year, one of the last 15. We've not only got to get him that next step to become a finalist, he deserves to go into Canton, and he deserves to go in now. So please put the word out there. You can check my Twitter, my X, Jimmy's X, with all the stats and the passion and the reasons it really belongs. But please don't give up on him. Keep it fired up. We all deserve to go back to Canton to watch number 71 get put in his rightful spot with a bust up in Canton. James?
Thanks, Tom. Look forward to seeing everybody Sunday. It's just the final one of the year. Again, a lot of the fans that we see on Sundays in the fall, that's the only time of the year we see them. So look forward to kind of one last hurrah down at the southeast corner of Paycor to go out to lead Tony to his big day inside. And in the chat earlier, a lot of people talked about it. You can still vote for Tony for overall fan of the year. And the other big vote that's going on is Ted Karras for Walter Payton Man of the Year. So I think today, correct me if I'm wrong, is double vote day. You can vote multiple times today, so you can do that. There is a link on the Bengal Gym homepage where you can go there, click the link, and vote for Ted Karras, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Just a great man. We know how important charity work is to what we do. So go on there, vote multiple times, have family members vote, and Ted would appreciate it. He's in first. We need to keep him in first because I think Mahomes is in third. I think we're one subscriber away on YouTube. So if you're watching via YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button, share that with family and friends. Another great platform to watch the show week in and week out, whether it's regular season or off season. So smash that subscribe button. And again, all this is possible because of you, the fans. Two great guests, the mailman, John Breech. Appreciate them coming on. It's been a great season of guests. And Jim, go ahead and end it for us.
Yeah, thanks, James. Covered a lot of ground there. Thank you. Look, guys, Craig Johnson had committed in a text string at some point here this past week that we're going to be down there early. We're going to have fun at the tailgate this week. I think we're going to celebrate by doing some mimosas early at the tailgate. James, wasn't that what I think he texted? Okay.
Yeah, mimosas and hottie toddies. So there'll be plenty of warmness to get you through what could be a 40-degree day. So as always, we appreciate Craig for all he does. A big part of what we do, and he will have the warm beverages to warm your insides before the game on Sunday.
Yeah,
and he did. And he just said he voted. So multitasking, Craig. So Craig's smashing the vote button. I don't know if that's for you or if that's for Teddy. Maybe both, Tony. We'll just say he did it for both.
Yeah, so keep an eye on social media platform. We look to have all of our normal tailgate partners down there. We're going to have Big B Coffee with some hot coffee early in the morning as well if you don't want an alcoholic beverage in any way, shape, or form. But Skyline and Donato's and Everything Bagel and Bengal Bids, everybody's going to be down there. Again, 16 lots and Beer Fest, Craig. Everybody be down there. Keep an eye on the social media platform this week. We'll give some updates probably around Thursday. Everything that's going on. We're going to do a few more fun things this week down at the tailgate. Let's enjoy our last tailgate of the year, guys, before the next season starts. Come on down and join us. And tune in next week. It's going to be our last episode of Season 4, official episode of Season 4. A lot of big news we're going to roll out next week. That doesn't mean we're going away until the next season. That we got some other things we'll be rolling out. A schedule will be kind of issued and talked about a little bit next week as well. But we appreciate you guys being part of this tonight. It was a lot of fun. The Bengals Mailman was great. We had a lot of fun with him. And John Breech is awesome, man. I really enjoyed talking to John and everything. So thanks for being part of it. Thanks for tuning in, taking your Tuesday evening with us. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Good day, everybody.
Good day.